The Mortuary Assistant is an absolute prime example of what an indie horror game should be. A legitimate horror experience. The game does what many indie horror titles dream of, which is actually scaring the player. It never overplayed its hand with cheap gimmicks, weak plot, or childish tone. It's an experience that gripped me from start to finish. There was no attempt to birth a massive franchise or become something bigger than it needed to be. It contained itself in a small, yet detailed story. The game was a masterclass on what horror should be in a video game, and I truly can say, it tortured me.
I'm actually petrified of fear. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I
Horror has always been a popular franchise, from its sweet infancy to what it's grown into today. Games such as Resident Evil and Silent Hill heavily popularized the genre, and from that point forward, horror was marching headfirst into the AAA scene. As game development became more accessible to people around the world, smaller devs wanted to try their hand in the horror space. The first indie horror game I truly believe broke the mold of popularity was Slender Man: The 8 Pages. This game took the internet by storm, somehow challenging and even rising above in notability of fully fleshed out AAA games. Slenderman succeeded from its mysterious plot and unnerving gameplay. Although the game was essentially a walking simulator, people loved it because of what it made people feel. Fear. This was a moment in history that changed the entire trajectory of what the horror genre was. When people saw the almost overnight success of Slenderman, people wanted their own slice of the pie. But when people thought a titan was rising, it was merely a stepping stone for what will come next. Chipper & Sons Lumber Co. Scott Cawthon's original premise for a family-friendly game was molded into something completely different by one bad review. Jim Sterling's quote of "unintentionally terrifying" let off a butterfly effect shaping years and years of gaming history. Scott Cawthon took this review and decided to make one of the most influential horror games of all time. Five Nights at Freddy's. Arguably one of the most popular horror titles to ever release, spawning a massive franchise and never-ending supply of fans. FNAF changed the wheel of horror with its unique style to gameplay, but what captivated people the most was its story. The narrative was shrouded in mystery and lured in mountains of people trying to solve its many secrets. With this unprecedented level of success, people trying to latch onto this accomplishment made games of their own. Some far better than others. Year after year, mediocre imitations were churned out left and right, tainting the indie horror name. As time went on, FNAF stood as a golden beacon and godfather of the genre, but even FNAF couldn't overcome the decline that comes with time. It seemed as though the genre was dying out and was never truly going to return to form. I think fans of indie horror knew what was happening. We watched as the genre stood atop of a sinking ship and forever lay in the murky depths of irrelevancy. But I think the devs saw this too. I feel as though indie horror hasn't truly made its return to form yet. But I think games like the Mortuary Assistant show it's taking steps to reform its once great name. Many demos of promising titles have appeared in the past, and unfortunately, very few of them delivered. Games such as Bendy and the Ink Machine and Poppy's Playtime, in my eyes, fell short of the potential seen in their beginnings. But the Mortuary Assistant is not the same. A demo releases on January 24th, 2021 for the Mortuary Assistant. The demo immediately paints a picture on what the full release will be. An unnerving, real horror experience. I was thoroughly impressed seeing this demo release, but I held my tongue knowing the disappointments of the past. Apparitions appear in the corner of your eyes, slipping out of view when you try to get a better look. Events were random, meaning no playthrough would ever be the same, leaving players constantly questioning when the next scare will be. The demo conveyed everything it needed and garnered lots of attention, netting itself an estimated $1.1 million in revenue for when the game finally released. We open in a cafe as we converse with our grandmother about our new internship at the morgue. She expresses concern for our sake, commenting on how scary the field is. We brush her off, but as a parting gift, she gives us our father's necklace. At the morgue, we are run through the process of embalming a body by our boss, Raymond Delver.
It's still daytime. Ghosts can't come out at daytime.
Rebecca.
Whoa!
Great.
Observing, documenting, stitching, and dissecting the body in uncomfortably close angles. With each procedure, we're forced to remain at a fixed angle without the ability to look away from the body lying in front of us. The decision of forcing your attention to the body is a genius choice that proves its brilliance as the game proceeds.
I bathe in blood of the righteous, all of them.
The bodies all have their own uncanny and disturbing features. Teeth too big for their mouth, dead white eyes, occasionally sporting a small smile, and sometimes look like this. Small details like this are what off-put me. A horror game doesn't always need to make you jump out of your chair and scream your head off. To build tension, the Mortuary Assistant applies subtle details to further build the impact for when the big scare comes. But the way the game keeps us guessing is by having that big scare never come. After we have an experience, Raymond excuses us from work, and we head home.
Hello?
Hey, Rebecca. It's Raymond.
Oh, hi, Mr. Delver. Look, if I did anything wrong today, just...
No. I wanted to apologize. You've done a fantastic job. I'm just not feeling too well. That's actually why I'm calling. I know it's late, but we just got 3 new cadavers, and no one else can make it in right now. I was hoping you could come in and take care of them.
Well, yeah. Are you sure? I mean, of course.
Excellent. You're doing me a huge favor. I took care of the rest of your onboarding. We're all set. And your new badge is in your personal belongings drawer in the back room.
That's great. Thank you. I'm on my way right now. I hope you feel better.
Thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
In the day, the morgue has almost a warm and kind presence, even when knowing what the building is used for. But at night, any resemblance of a friendly area is gone. We enter the morgue once again, but this time, the aura is all wrong. Suddenly, we're locked in by a mysterious figure.
Alright, guess I'll head to the back and get started.
Hi, Rebecca.
Mr. Delver, I need help. Someone's outside the mortuary.
Just try to stay calm. I know you're scared. I'll unlock the door in a moment.
What?
This is very sudden, but listen to me. We have to start right away. I'm sorry. I didn't know until it made itself known this morning that it was here, let alone bound to you. I had no way of knowing the possession had started.
What? Look, this isn't funny. Stop.
You need to take this seriously. You need to act quickly.
This is insane. I'll just leave. I'll just fucking leave.
You can't leave, Rebecca. I can't allow that for you or for others. It's far too dangerous.
What am I supposed to do then?
Most bodies I work with at night are fine, so we stay calm, okay? We embalm, file the paperwork, everything. Treat it like a normal day. Staying focused will help. I left some things for you on the desk. I'll call again when you get to the embalming room.
No, wait. Damn it. What the fuck? This is insane.
A demon has possessed us. To stop it from taking hold, we must deduce which of the 3 bodies it's hiding in and extinguish it.
Hell, now! You're in hell. Yes! Oh shit! Did I mess up? Did I do it?
Throughout multiple playthroughs, the mortuary assistant drip feeds us piece after piece of the story until it feels it's said enough. The game is riddled with secrets, allowing it to build its world and flesh out its gameplay by supplying us with lore and context. It will never upfront say its story to your face, but it leaves enough crumbs to let the player piece it together themselves. Left alone in the morgue, we are tasked with embalming 3 bodies and figuring out which one the demon inhabits itself in.
How do I clip something?
3 entities haunt the morgue that we must face throughout the night. The Mimic is described as a hairless, white-skinned figure with a black mouth. It stalks the player and skitters out of our view once it's spotted. The Shadow is an empty cloud of dark. It often calls to us and antagonizes us with familiar voices. Seemingly, the most aggressive of the 3 is the woman in white. She constantly harasses the player and is seemingly the only one to make physical contact with our character. There's no options to fight back. Throughout all the hallucinations and confrontations with the demons, our only choice is to face it head on.
Whoa!
Tell you what,
What?
why don't you go ahead and head out?
Okay.
This game's crowning achievement is its replayability. With events and items always being randomly set, you never know what will happen. The mortuary assistant doesn't follow a rhythm, and thus we're forced to roll with the punches. As we carry on with our duties, the night gets stranger and stranger. We're forced to face things we don't want to see, and wherever I was, I always felt like there was something behind me. The mortuary assistant takes pride in forcing our faces into unpleasant angles and constantly forcing us to have our back face towards the danger. Pulling the gurney down the hall, applying stitching, and cleaning up their face. The amount of different scares this game packs into itself is legitimately astounding. You could play through multiple times and only scratch the surface of the many events that can happen to you. The woman in white lunging at us, or the mimic grinning as he contorts himself into strange, inhuman positions. After FNAF shifted the landscape of indie horror, many devs tried to take advantage or attempt to recreate its magic. Games riddled with controversy, or clear attempts to be a cash grab. Indie horror is almost associated with the idea of horror for kids. Another creator, by the name of Dags, created an amazing video going on about the topic, who I highly recommend you view. Games dumbing themselves down to appeal to a wide audience, rather than build a project devs can be proud of. Few titles have risen above this stereotype, and the mortuary assistant ignores the noise and overcomes this newfound standard. Titles like the mortuary assistant are a glimmering hope that indie horror will take a proper step back into releasing quality titles. At the moment, games of this quality are diamonds in the rough. Darkwood, Omori, Duck Season, and a handful more have been these rare gems from the indie scene. These games all want to tell a story and compel the player. That is what sticks with your audience, not by how marketable you can be. The Mortuary Assistant and more should be held as an example to other devs on what the word quality means.